The email arrived at 4:17 on a Tuesday. Promotion approved. Salary increased. Everyone said this was the moment life became easier. For 1 hour, I felt rich. Not wealthy, just finally ahead of the month that always seemed to reach me first. My colleagues chose the restaurant. I chose the most expensive thing without checking the price. It felt like proof that the promotion was real. 3 weeks later, I toured a better apartment. The agent called it the natural next step for someone at my level. That phrase was expensive. Natural next step. It made a choice sound like gravity, as if success had rules I was not allowed to question. My old car still worked, but suddenly it looked like an apology parked beside the cars of people with my new title. Then the first full paycheck landed. The number was larger. The space around it was not. By the end of the month, I asked a question that should have been impossible after a promotion. Where did the raise go? I earned more than ever and felt less room to make a mistake. The salary grew. So did the consequences of missing one. I thought the problem was spending. It was deeper. My income had been assigned to an identity before it was assigned to freedom. Every professional circle has a hidden minimum spend. Nobody writes it down. Everyone can feel when someone falls below it. Dress the part sounded like career advice. Soon it meant shoes, jackets, grooming, and replacing anything that looked too ordinary. Living near the office saved time. It also doubled the cost of every quiet hour I spent inside the apartment. One dinner was harmless. The weekly rotation was not. I was buying belonging, one reservation at a time. The conference was useful. The upgraded hotel, airport lounge, and extra weekend were choices disguised as business requirements. My gifts became larger because people knew my title. Generosity remained real, but the audience changed the amount. None of these costs looked reckless alone. Together, they formed a subscription to the person I was expected to be. I named it the success tax. The money paid not for survival, growth, or joy, but to keep success visible. Nobody collected this tax. That made it harder to resist. The invoice arrived through comparison, expectation, and fear. The worst part was timing. The raise was spent in my imagination before the payroll system sent the first extra rupee. I bought a plain black notebook and promised to record every expense for 30 days. No shame, no excuses, just evidence. For every purchase, I asked 4 questions. Did it protect me, grow me, delight me, or display me? The morning coffee stayed. It gave me 10 calm minutes before work. Cheap judgment would have called it waste. The second jacket did not stay. I wanted it because a colleague wore something similar during a presentation. Some late rides were protection, others were convenience. The notebook forced me to separate safety from habit. At every purchase, an invisible guest seemed to sit beside me. What would they think if I chose the cheaper option? By day 10, the receipts covered one wall. Not because I spent wildly, but because normal had become expensive. I added one more column. What emotion appeared before the purchase? Anxiety won more often than desire. On day 20, I declined a dinner and felt physical discomfort. The cost of belonging had trained my body. On day 30, I totaled the display column. It was larger than my monthly investment. That was the whole story. Comparison was not everywhere. It lived in specific rooms, office kitchens, weddings, restaurants, airports, and glowing phone screens. In the office kitchen, people discussed neighborhoods as if addresses measured intelligence. I laughed and quietly raised my housing budget. At weddings, cars, watches, and travel became conversation. Nobody asked how much freedom the owners had left. Social media delivered thousands of lifestyles without showing the debt, family money, or fear behind them. I was not buying objects. I was buying distance from the version of me who once felt behind. The old car carried no mechanical problem. It carried an old embarrassment. Replacing it would not repair the memory. My job title had become a costume department. Every raise funded another piece of clothing for the role. Visible success is expensive because it must remain visible. The moment nobody can see it, the purchase loses part of its purpose. I imagined every audience disappearing. Which choices would remain if nobody could admire them? Good food with people I loved, a safe home, work that did not consume my health. Most status upgrades vanished. Higher income should create margin. Often it creates bigger promises, a longer lease, a larger car payment, and more people depending on you. Fixed costs eat before you do. They arrive whether work feels secure, health holds, or the economy cooperates. My lifestyle looked better from outside and offered fewer exits from inside. Beauty had become a cage with automatic payments. One bad quarter at work revealed the truth. My salary was high, but my ability to say no was almost zero. A salary feels permanent when it arrives repeatedly. Repetition is not ownership. The payment stops when the agreement stops. Margin is the distance between what life requires and what income provides. That distance is financial power. I compared my current life with 5 years earlier. I earned far more. I had fewer months of choices. Every fixed cost raised the price of leaving a bad job, changing cities, resting, or trying something new. Wealth was not the number on my offer letter. It was the number of decisions I could survive making differently. My first target was not $1 million. It was 6 months in which nobody could force a decision through fear. A promotion does not stay private in a family. Soon I became the successful one, a title with emotional invoices attached. School fees, repairs, medical bills, and business ideas found my phone. Some needs were real. All felt urgent. I wanted to help. I also wanted to remain the person everyone believed I had become. Those motives were not the same. Without a limit, every request negotiated directly with guilt. Guilt is a terrible financial planner. Unplanned help created resentment I was ashamed to admit. That resentment damaged generosity more than a clear limit would have. I created a monthly family support number. If the fund was empty, the answer became later, smaller, or no. A boundary did not make me less generous. It made generosity repeatable, without turning love into a financial emergency. My family could celebrate my income without owning it. I could love them without becoming their entire risk plan. The first no felt cruel for 10 minutes. Then it felt honest. The relationship survived. I kept helping with needs I had chosen in advance. The difference was simple. Love decided before pressure arrived. The hardest question was not what to cut. It was who I would be if success became less visible. I drove the old car for 1 more week and watched for disaster. Nothing happened. People were busy thinking about themselves. I chose the simpler restaurant and discovered the conversation did not become cheaper with the menu. I repeated the same shirt at 2 professional events. My career survived. My laundry became more efficient. I asked whether the apartment improved my daily life enough to justify the freedom it consumed. The answer was uncomfortable. Cutting visible success produced withdrawal. Not because I missed the objects, but because I missed the reassurance. I needed a new way to know I was progressing. Assets, skills, health, relationships, and time became internal evidence. The private scoreboard rewarded what nobody could photograph: a growing reserve, a stronger body, and an honest calendar. I wrote 1 word across the notebook: enough. Without a definition, success would keep moving the finish line. Enough meant a safe home, meaningful work, generous choices, health, and the ability to leave what was harming me. I froze lifestyle growth for 1 year. No larger apartment, newer car, or automatic upgrade after the next raise. This was not punishment. I kept what worked and stop treating every functional object as an unfinished version of something better. I evaluated fixed costs by choices lost. A higher rent was not just money, it was fewer months of freedom. Moving to a less expensive home felt like moving backward. Then I calculated how far the savings could move my future forward. I chose the home that delivered most of the value without consuming most of the margin. The difference moved automatically on payday. I never gave daily willpower the chance to spend it. I protected a joy budget too. A system with no pleasure eventually recruits rebellion. Luxury stayed when I truly loved it. It left when its main job was being noticed. The lifestyle ceiling sounded restrictive. In practice, it created open sky above every future raise. Within 3 months, money stopped feeling like a hallway packed with furniture. Space returned before wealth did. A raise needs instructions before it arrives. Otherwise, every appetite in your life submits an application. I created 4 destinations for every increase: assets, margin, generosity, and enjoyment. Half of every raise purchased assets before lifestyle could adjust. Ownership finally grew with income. The next portion expanded my reserve until one bad quarter could no longer control my decisions. A defined portion funded family help and giving. Generosity became planned capacity, not emergency performance. I kept a portion for enjoyment. Progress should be felt, not only recorded. The difference was choosing it consciously. Each year I reviewed the rule. I did not pretend my old income was enough forever. I simply refused automatic expansion. When the next promotion came, I celebrated. Then I followed the rule before touring anything new. This raise felt different. It did not make me look richer within a week. It made me harder to frighten within a year. Motivation changed daily. The rule did not. That is why the result finally accumulated. 1 year later, my salary was not dramatically higher. My options were. A difficult meeting no longer felt like a threat to my home. I could listen without translating every sentence into rent. I could decline a project that damaged my health. No applause followed. Freedom rarely announces itself. My car, apartment, and wardrobe became less impressive. My calendar, sleep, and choices became more impressive to me. Income is what enters. Wealth is what remains, grows, and protects your ability to choose. The real status symbol was not being able to buy anything. It was being able to walk away from almost anything. Every asset purchased a future choice. Every reduced fixed cost purchased a little courage. When your next raise arrives, pause before life expands to consume it. Give the money a job that survives the applause. For 30 days, track the money spent mainly to remain visible. Do not judge it. Just name it and total it. If success must be visible, let it look like margin, ownership, health, generosity, and the power to choose your next sentence.